You wake up, choking. Not on air-on fear. Your hands are shaking, your mouth dry as desert sand. The platter before you gleams under the torchlight-roasted goose, honeyed figs, a cup of red wine so perfect it almost glows. But it's not your meal. It's your test. You're the Pharaoh's newest royal food taster. Congratulations, you've officially become Egypt's most disposable employee. One bite too slow, and you're whipped. One bite too fast, and you're dead. Your worth? Less than a goat. And not even the prettiest one in the pen. You watch as the high priest whispers a prayer not for you, but for the Pharaoh's digestion. The guards snicker. They've seen dozens like you before. Scared, starving slaves dressed up as servants of honor. You raise the cup to your lips, your reflection trembling on the surface of the wine. You sip. You swallow. The Pharaoh watches. He doesn't blink. Your stomach tightens. The room spins. You can't tell if it's poison or just panic. The guards whisper, "If he lives, bring the bread." And as your heart races faster than a chariot on the battlefield, one question burns in your skull. How did you end up here living every day, one bite away from death? And that's just your first morning. Ready for your new life? You weren't born into luxury. You were born into dust. Your mother was a servant in the temple kitchens, and your father a man whose name you never learned was probably sold before your first birthday. In ancient Egypt, destiny wasn't written in the stars. It was written in who owned you. When the palace guards came to the village, you thought they were there to hand out bread. Instead, they handed out collars. You were one of the lucky ones, a young, lean boy chosen to serve in the royal kitchens. They called it training. You called it torture. You learned to scrub bronze plates until your fingers bled. You learned to stand for hours under the heat of open fires, sweating through linen that stuck to your back like wet bandages. You learned silence because one wrong word could send you to the crocodiles. Still, there was hope. You dreamed of rising through the ranks, maybe becoming a royal cook or even the chief steward. You saw them walking tall in their gold collars, fed, clean, respected. But fate had darker plans. One day, a taster collapsed at the Pharaoh's table, frothing, gasping, gone before his body hit the floor. The high priest pointed at you.
Obedient.
That one, he said. He looks obedient. You weren't promoted. You were condemned. You were now the first line of defense between Egypt's most powerful stomach and Egypt's deadliest ambitions. And the worst part? You had no choice but to smile. You learned to kneel before you learned to read. You master silence before you master speech. Your education is simple. Eat, observe, die or don't. The chief taster, an old man with one good eye and half his teeth, becomes your teacher. His lessons are short and cruel. Always taste from the middle of the plate. Poison hides where it pools. Never trust sweetness. Honey masks death. And if you feel heat in your throat, pray faster than you chew. They teach you how to fake calm, how to smile while your tongue burns, how to hide the tremor in your hands so the Pharaoh doesn't see weakness, because weakness smells like guilt, and guilt smells like treason. You practice on stray dogs first. A few drops of wine here, a bite of fish there. You watch as their bodies twist, foam, stiffen. You take notes. You pretend you're learning science, but deep down, you're just memorizing ways to die slower. You start hearing rumors. Tasters who went mad from paranoia. Servants buried alive for tasting too little, too late. But the priests call you blessed. They say the Pharaoh's food is holy, and your sacrifice keeps Egypt pure. Blessed. You almost laugh when they say it. Because while others pray to the gods for protection, you pray just to survive the next meal. And every night, you whisper the same words before sleeping. Maybe tomorrow, it'll be the wine. Maybe tomorrow, I won't wake up. But wait, it gets worse. You thought tasting was bad. Then came the banquets. Hundreds of guests, dozens of dishes. Every bite your potential execution. You taste honeyed duck, spiced fish, and fermented figs so sour they sting your tongue. Then the Pharaoh's cupbearer nods at you, time for the wine again. You sip, you smile, you wait. Your stomach growls from too much, too fast. You want to vomit, but you can't not in front of royalty. One evening, a noble from Thebes sends a gift to the pharaoh, a golden tray of pastries shaped like scarabs. They look harmless. You taste the first one. Sweet, buttery, perfect. You bite the second and the world goes silent. You drop to your knees. Your throat burns. You claw at your neck. The guards rush forward. The high priest lifts your chin. "He'll live," he says after a moment. "Barely." They drag you to the back room, bleeding from your mouth. Someone laughs. Looks like the gods chose him again. That night, the pharaoh's scribe records the event. Taster tested loyal. Poison confirmed. No name. No face. Just a footnote in royal digestion. Days pass. You begin to lose taste. Literally. Your tongue is scarred from toxins and acids. You eat sand to reset it, chew lotus petals to numb the pain. And yet, when the next banquet comes, you kneel again. Because in this world, survival isn't a reward. It's a punishment that keeps renewing itself. Imagine a job where your boss owns your solend, your dress code. Linen, shaved head, silence. You're not a servant. You're an instrument. You start recognizing the look in other servants' eyes, the envy. They think you're close to power. If only they knew. If only they saw the vomit stains behind the banquet hall, the pits where failed tasters are buried before their bodies even cool. You're the pharaoh's shield, but no one shields you. And the cruelest part? You still start to feel pride. Because every day you live feels like victory. Until one day, you meet someone who ruins that illusion forever. Her name was Tia, new kitchen girl, barely 14. She smiled too much for a place this cursed. She whispered, "You must be brave, tasting for the pharaoh." You wanted to tell her the truth, that bravery has nothing to do with it, that it's all fear and luck, but her smile reminded you of what you lost years ago. She started sneaking you water when your throat burned, bread when your stomach twisted. For a moment, you remembered what it felt like to be human. Then, one morning, she vanished. Rumors said she was caught near the storage jars, accused of stealing dates. The punishment? Burial alive. You didn't believe it until you tasted that day's wine and recognized her bracelet tied to the handle. A message, a warning, or maybe just cruelty. That night, you vomited until blood came. Not from poison from grief. The other tasters watched in silence. No one comforted you. They couldn't. Empathy is dangerous here. You start to realize something sickening. Every meal you survive costs someone else their life. The priests tell you this is divine order. The pharaoh's body is sacred. Yours is not. You are the line between life and chaos. A disposable wall made of flesh and fear. By now, your body trembles even when you're not tasting. The smell of roasted meat makes you gag. Your reflection looks like a ghost. But the palace still feeds you onde, so you stay. Because leaving isn't allowed. And death? That's just the next course. It's been 10 years. You've outlived 7 pharaohs, 9 tasters, and more assassins than you can count. The guards joke that you're too poisonous to poison. You almost laugh, but your teeth fall out when you try. One morning, you're summoned early. The new pharaoh, young and paranoid, demands loyalty. He insists every servant taste twice. Twice. You do as ordered. The bread is fine. The wine bitter, not sweet like usual. Your gut screams no, but your face smiles yes. You swallow. Once. Twice. Then the burning starts. Your knees give way. The world narrows to a pinpoint of fire in your stomach. The guards panic. The priest bows. And the pharaoh? He doesn't even look at you. He just whispers, "May the gods cleanse my table." You realize it too. Late he poisoned you on purpose. A test. A show of power. As your body convulses on the marble floor, you hear distant laughter, smell incense, and think of Tia's smile. The last thing you see is the cup tipping over, spilling red across the floor, your final masterpiece. The scribe will write, "Taster loyal, poison confirmed, no name." No tears, no legacy, just another forgotten shadow in Egypt's golden age. history will forget you. But Hayat, least you got a free meal. So, would you ever take the job of a royal food taster-if? It meant living in luxury but risking death every single meal. Drop your thoughts in the comments backhand index pointing down. I really want to know what you'd choose. And if you enjoyed this dark journey through ancient Egypt, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that history tried to bury. Your support keeps these forgotten voices alive. Thanks for watching.